Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good and his mercy endure forever. We say good evening to each and every one of you, and we're so happy and delighted to have you with us on tonight on the Deeper Dive. Let us know that you are in the room. Sister Jasmine, how you doing, Lady Jasmine? Absolutely read the place. My phone has been blowing up about our praise and worship service on this past week. I'm telling you, it's been a marvelous time in the Lord. Good to have you with us tonight. Sister O, good to see you. Patricia Stevens, Pat Stevens, good to see you. Who else is in the room tonight? Come on in, like, share, comment. Let us know that you are watching tonight. We're excited about all of the good things that's going on in the Zion Church. Who else do we have in the room tonight? Um, Amen. Good to see you. So Jamila Williams, good to see you as well on tonight. Who else do we have in the room? Come on in the room. Let us know that you are present and accounted for. And we'll be so happy and delighted about that. Listen, I'm grateful. I am absolutely grateful for all that God has done and is doing in the life of the Zion Church. You know by now, God blessed us to be able to officially just kind of welcome to the neighborhood type of day of celebration. And we were just blessed. We had a full day of worship and praise to our true and living God. And for that, we are grateful as well, man. I'm telling you, Sunday was a good day. If it was a good day for you, just let us know in the chat. Just say it was a good day. It was a good day. Good day. Sister Jones, good to see you back in Deeper Dive. Sister Akins, good to see you as well. Sister Tawana, good to see you as well. It was a good day. I'm telling you, man. I'm a proud pastor. I'm proud of what God is doing in the life of the Zion Church, and for you, we're grateful for that. Listen, Sunday was incredible. We had the week off, and so we were kind of fresh. I know I was fresh, and I was ready to just share what God has to say on Sunday. And we've been in this series of growth, and this holiday season for many people can be painful. A lot of hurt. You know, you're dealing with hurt, whether it's a loss of a loved one or you're hurt because things have not really happened the way you wanted them to happen, and just so many areas of our lives where I feel like we're hurting and going through pain, right? And God just dropped in my spirit that it's something I want to do with this pain. It's something that um the pain has purpose. What it is that you and I have gone through or will go through is purposeful. And so much about pain, we look at it as something happening to us or something being taken away from us. But thank you, Jazz. It's a Sunday show that many people support, but I played Man, that is so good to hear. Um, and I think that is true. Sometimes God blesses you with the ability to reap what you've sown, right? A lot of people don't know what you've sown until they get to see it in action. And so thank you for that. Um, but I was talking about pain and how much pain affects us, right? How much we look at it in a very negative light often. But God shifted my focus in the area of pain that said, hey, what if I show you that pain is connected to a payment? That I can literally pay you back from everything that you've gone through. That the reward for what it is that you're going through is going to be bigger than what it is you're going through. There's a passage in the Bible that says this: the adversities of the trouble of our present time, they're not worthy to be compared for the things that God has in store for us. And so you and I must understand that the pain that you and I go through, I believe that there's a paycheck, there's a level of payment that's attached to that level of pain. And I want to talk about that pain with our riding partner tonight, man of God. Good to have you on tonight. How you doing?
Hanging in there, man. I'm hanging in there, doing well. Doing well. How about you?
Good, man. I'm hanging and I'm holding. Holding and I'm hanging and I'm hanging and I'm holding.
Right, both. All of the above. All of the above.
Yeah, on this rainy day in South Florida, man. I was talking about pain, right? I was talking about how, God in a sense can reward us
Hmm.
for the pain that we're going through. That I called the message the big payback. That, that what happens when you reevaluate what it is you're going through.
Yeah.
That that pain that when you go to the gym, right? When you're working out, that's why a lot of us don't like to go because it hurts. It's painful. You start stretching those muscles, right? And
Right.
but the payback for that pain is when you look in the mirror and
See
you see a little
results.
muscles,
Yeah.
you see some physique, you see some stuff shaping up, right? That is the payback from the pain.
Yeah.
That you worked hard, you stretched these muscles, you sweated, you ran, you lift, you did the cardio, you did everything, and the payment of that is good health.
Yeah. Yeah. When you
So,
see the
so
results. Yeah.
right, right, and some of us we're spiritually out of shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're spiritually out of shape. We haven't been working out with our faith, and so God has to send in order to really get that physique, that spiritual physique, we got to be willing to endure some pain.
Yeah. And really, the only way, even from a physical and natural point of view, the only way you see results is if you go through the pain.
Woo. Yeah.
You know, if
Yeah.
if if you working out and you're never sore, then you're doing something wrong.
Right. Right.
Like the soreness is the the notification that you pushed to a point that you needed in order to eventually see results.
Right. We
So the
got to
pain,
push past some things.
yeah, you got to push past some things, and the pain is a sign that you're doing it the right way. Sometimes
Mm.
that's literally that
Wow.
can literally be the case, and sometimes we think because something hurts, because something is painful, that we're doing it wrong. But a lot of times it's because you're actually doing it right, and it's a
Yeah.
necessary process. And it's even scripture tells us, man, that what you sow in tears, you'll reap in
Reap
joy.
in joy.
That's payback, right?
Right.
That's
Right.
payback. So I think the whole idea of pain being a seed, or something that you're paying, right? You're paying with pain, but you're getting paid back with joy.
Yeah, and oftentimes we've got to, and I know sometimes we got to look. I like to redefine things. I don't. I try not to allow things to define me. I try to redefine things, and so you know, when you go through pain, one of the first things I say is, how can I, for lack of a better term, how can I profit from this? How
Hmm.
can I benefit for this? Or if there's no personal benefit, and a lot of these things could be dual aligned. If there's not a personal benefit, how does what I've gone through help somebody else
Yeah,
to maybe avoid the level of pain I'm going through?
yeah,
How can I profit for this? Or how can someone else profit from this? I know growing up, most of the teachings from our parents, they were so hard because they didn't want you to go through the same pain that they went through.
yeah. That's right. That's
And
right.
and and I believe that we have to be able to analyze certain seasons of our lives to say, wait a minute, instead of allowing this pain to get the best of me, how can this pain pay me back?
Yeah,
How can I profit from this? How can someone else profit or benefit from this? The Bible tells us that we're overcome by two things: the blood of the Lamb
yeah.
and the words
Our testimony.
of our testimony.
Yeah,
So there's no wasted pain.
that's right. Yeah, and I think we have to also realize too, man, that sometimes pain is a sign that you're healing from something too.
Yes,
Like
as so
healing,
Joan said in the comments.
healing
Yes.
from even from a physical standpoint, man. If you're feeling pain, that's a sign that what was broken and what was damaged is getting better.
Mm. Ooh.
And
Somebody ought to put that in the chat. Just a word of encouragement for your own self. It's getting better.
yeah, and there's a lot of associations with pain, man. That and I think it's just a matter of us sometimes redefining it or realizing it. This our year of growth, man, and there's even something called growing pains, like physically.
Growing pains.
Like kids experience it, like just random pains, and then you go to take them to the doctor. Remember that happened with me when I was younger, and they were like, "No, there's nothing wrong with him. It's growing pains. He's experiencing because he's growing, he's getting taller, and sometimes that's what it is. All pain doesn't have to have a negative association to it, even if it hurts. Um, you have to redefine, like, hey, maybe this is just growth. Maybe this is just me growing. And the things associated with that could sometimes cause pain because having to separate from people could cause pain, right? Having to leave a place could cause pain, but it's for our benefit.
Right.
I think God has an interesting way of taking our pain, no matter what it is, and allowing it to work out for His glory and for, like you stated, for that testimony.
Yeah.
Um, because there's a lot of associations to pain, man, and it's the good news is that there is a payback for it.
Yeah. For his glory, our growth. Um, that was one of the messages that I intended to preach this year on growth was that growing pains that, even as a growing church, there are gonna be some pains. There are gonna be some things that we do different. There's gonna be some, areas, hey man, we've been used to doing it this way. But we're growing. We can't do it that way anymore. We got to do it this way, or maybe somebody else is adding some input or adding some leadership or whatever. And you got to go through those pains of growth, the pains of doing things different, the pain of understanding what's next for us. And so, but the payback of that always helps, right? And Paul says this, the text that we led was Second Corinthians chapter number 12. Reading this is, for almost a year, I couldn't feel my healing. But now the pain I'm experiencing when they open my chest is unbearable sometimes. But my doctors say I must push through it because it's getting better.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow. What What man? That's what can you say about that?
Right.
You gotta
Right.
push through it
Yeah. And you do. You
because
have.
it's getting better.
Right.
Doesn't that sound like an oxymoron?
Right. Right.
Getting
Right.
better? I feel worse, but the doctor said I'm getting better.
Yeah. Anybody that's had to go through physical therapy know exactly what that's about.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
physical therapy sometimes hurts worse than the injury you experience.
Right. Right.
You gotta push through it because this is how you get better.
Let's encourage somebody right now before we even dive into the text. Tell them this or tag somebody or say it so you could go back and read it for yourself. Push through it.
Push through it.
Push through it. It's going to hurt. It's going to feel uncomfortable. You're not going to like it, but push through it. Push through it. Push through it. There's a blessing on the other side of through. Push through it. That's a word I want to drop in somebody's spirit as we dive into this text. Push through it.
Yeah.
Push through it. Paul in Second Corinthians chapter number 12, he begins to open up by talking about this thorn in his flesh. Many believers are familiar with this passage. He talks about the main idea, if you will, of 2 Corinthians chapter 12, at least the first 10 verses, focuses on this thorn in Paul's flesh. And the thorn, of course, is connected to pain. And one of the things that, of course, we understand in this text, like many of us, when Paul is experiencing this thorn, of course, we want God to pull it out. God, pull this pain out. Pull it out. And it is in my time of study, I'm like, God, why didn't you just pull the pain out?
Right.
Wouldn't that have been simpler?
Yeah.
Wouldn't if you had just done that, I'd be okay. Like, let's just not overcomplicate it. Sometimes this is how I talk about it. Let's not overcomplicate this. If you just this right here, this thorn, just pull it out and we'll be good. And God, through the points that we pulled out of the passage, is no, I'm not gonna pull that pain out, but there is something I'm gonna pull out of you. There's something in you, both good and bad, that I need to pull out of you.
Yeah.
And I believe Second Corinthians chapter 12 starts unfolding that by saying in verse number 7, he says, even though, I received such wonderful revelations from God. So to keep me from becoming proud, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan from Satan to torment me and keep me from becoming proud.
Yeah.
The first thing Paul lets us know unequivocally is this: I understand what God is trying to do. I was given this thorn, number one, because God says, I want to pull pride out of you. What struck me about this, Pastor Brandon, is that Paul doesn't say to stop me from being prideful.
Yeah.
He said to keep me
Keep me.
from becoming proud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about that. God said, I'm about to do something so significant in your life that if I don't give you this pain, you'll be hard to fool with, man. Nobody won't like you.
Yeah. And it's that's an interesting concept, man, because I think sometimes people don't think they could ever be prideful or don't realize that they do have moments of being overly proud. And I think God knows, right, that you think you don't have the, it's not in your nature to become prideful, but that's because you haven't experienced all the things I can do in your life, all the way.
Woo!
Like you haven't experienced that level of blessing yet that would tempt someone to be prideful, right?
Mm.
So you don't think you're capable of that because you haven't reached that level yet.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So don't ever say what you won't become or you won't do, because as the janitor, maybe you're not prideful, but
Wow.
as the CEO, you might be,
Wow. Wow.
right? And what's interesting, man, is that this whole narrative, like this chapter, if people have time, they should really go back and read the first few verses of this, because
Right.
Paul talks about, he's not talking in the first person. He's mentioning a man, but the scholars believe that the man he's talking about is him, right?
Right.
But the way he's delivering it is interesting. But he's talking about having experienced a vision of heaven,
Right.
right? Literally, if you look at verses 1, verses 2, he said, I know a man in Christ who 14 years ago was caught up to the third heaven, whether
Right.
in body or out of the body, I don't know, right? Was called up. In verse 4, he says, was caught up to paradise and heard inexpressible things that I could not permit to tell anyone. He's
Right.
talking about experiencing, literally experiencing heaven without dying.
Right.
That
I
he
got
had,
heaven right here on earth.
yeah, he's talking about a vision or an experience he had where he saw things that were so beyond human realization, that were so godly that he can't even talk about it, right? This vision, this access that he got, this
I can make
experience.
money off this, man.
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
sell this type of knowledge, boy.
yeah.
I,
Right, right, right.
he
He's
could
like,
see. I could see.
God gave me this experience, right? God allowed me to experience it. God blessed me with this. And it's so impactful that I can't even talk to you about it. I can't even tell you about it. And he says, I should and could boast about that.
Right. Right.
Right?
Imagine knowing that type of knowledge about people and
Yeah.
about things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And th-
yeah,
and
yeah.
that
That's what he talks
and
about.
that idea is where he goes into what you're saying, so that I don't become prideful.
Right, right, right,
He said he gave me this marvelous testimony, but he also gave me a thorn,
right,
right?
right,
He gave me
right,
this incredible experience, but he also gave me something I'm not so proud of. So
right.
it's
Ooh,
that balance of, I will give you I can give you some glory, I can give you some position, I can give you some power, but in order to balance that out, I got to give you something that you're not so proud of. I got to give you something that's painful, so that these experiences don't make you conceited.
yeah, 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 yeah. This pain was preventive measure in medical terms, right? This is preventive measures. I'm gonna give you this because to walk around with this type of knowledge,
Yeah,
well, this type of revelation, knowing what's gonna happen before it happens.
yeah,
With that type of information in your head,
yeah,
man, you could walk around so arrogant, puffed up, conceited.
yeah.
Nobody can tell you nothing because you know what's gonna happen before it happens.
Right. Yeah,
And like you said, he says, I could tell you this, but I'm gonna have to kill you. I could tell you, I could, but I can't.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, he shares this, man. This is interesting. He shares this. He's like, man, man, the access that I got to experience that, man, that could really make me go off of a cliff as it relates to being prideful. And he's like,
Yeah.
but to keep me from becoming prideful.
It's kind of access to heaven, right? It's kind of like, you work at a department where everybody wants access.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody want access. You could work, everybody work for the same people, but everybody don't have the same access.
Right. Right.
And you already know this. Sometimes the people that have that type of access, sometimes they could be a little, stuck up,
Mm-hmm.
a little
Mm-hmm.
arrogant, because they have access. They have power, right? If they
Yeah.
don't have power, they got access to the power.
Right.
And sometimes God says, there's something I want to give you. I want you, I want you to have the access.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you this. Oh, this is good for somebody. Because I want you to have it, I'm going to give you something to make sure you don't lose it.
Right.
Woo!
Right.
Woo! I don't
Right.
want you to just have it. I want you to keep it. So I'm going to give you something to make sure you don't lose it.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know when to shout.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want you to lose it. I don't want you to reach, we say it all the time is that how high can God lift you without losing you? And he says, so that I would not, other translations literally say, so that I would not be lifted up in pride.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the reason why I say that is because I think about what Proverbs 16 and 18 says. That pride comes right before the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before the fall.
Yeah.
I don't want you to listen. The higher you're lifted, the harder you're gonna fall.
Yeah. Now think think about this too, right? Because we a lot of people glorify that being lifted, right? In the sense of position and power, and and that's great. We should aspire to go up and be great and get positions and all those things. We should, but you have to understand that in this context, man, the higher you go, the more painful the thorns are,
Hmm.
right? Like,
You sure you want to go this high?
thank you. That's my point. You sure you want to be elevated like that?
How's your pain tolerance?
Because the level of revelation and the access he got, the pain had to be equal to that in a sense,
Yeah, yeah.
right? The level that he was able to experience, the pain had to be equal to that, because anything less than that wouldn't have held him in check.
It's pain tolerance. We gave the example. We gave the example. And when you were at the academy, they got to spray you with pepper spray. They got to spray you, man, because they want you to be able to handle.
Yeah, and that they did.
Right. They want you to be able to handle it
Yeah, yeah,
because you've got to be able to remind the enemy, no, I took this blow. I took this shot.
yeah,
And sometimes it's yourself. And as you suggest, so that's a blessing. That's a blessing to the hearer, because if it hurts really bad, that must be mean God trying to take you really high,
yeah.
because the pain tolerance has to match the elevation.
Right. Such was
The
the case.
elevation matches the agitation.
Such was the case with Jesus,
Yeah.
right? And even even from a Jesus perspective, man, the level of pain he experienced was in line with the elevation that he was receiving when he went to the cross, and what he, the idea of what he was doing when he went to the cross and what that represented. And people have to be careful about chasing crowns, right? And chasing the throne and chasing crowns, because from a Christ perspective, remember what his crown was made of. His crown
Mm.
was made of thorns.
Ooh. Dr. Jazz preaching in the comments. She say the level of payback. The payback got level. Lord have mercy. Woo!
Yeah,
The levels of payback. We don't want to talk about that.
right,
See, the way God paying you back is different. It's not necessarily equal.
right.
Why you getting paid more than Rich? She went through more pain.
Mm, Lord have mercy.
Why I pay? Oh. There are people that are questioning why our paychecks don't look the same.
We ain't done the same amount of work.
It's not the same amount of work. You ever been on a job where you saw that fight? We
My
don't
pay-
all get paid the same.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's levels to this
yeah,
because you don't know the level of pain I've endured
yeah. To keep me from
that
being
keep
proud.
me from being proud. That keep
Because God knows you.
he absolutely knows.
That, that's
I'm gonna
that's a,
hurt you so I can humble you.
that's a proactive measure. That's a proactive
Yeah,
measure to protect you from yourself.
they say in farming, they break the legs of the sheep. They break them. So it's a sign of humility.
Yeah,
Yeah. God. That's why David said, when you don't want to do something, he'll make you.
yeah,
He doesn't say lay down. David said he makes me. Hey, what you do when you? Hey, what you do when you hurt? Go lay down somewhere.
yeah,
I'm hurting. Go lay down. What your mama say? Mama, I'm hurt. Go lay down somewhere.
yeah.
Sometimes the hurt will cause you to lie down.
Listen, it
Be
sure will.
still.
Yeah, to keep him from becoming proud.
Keep me. He said, I'm gonna pull that pride up out of you first. And notice what he says. He says, listen, verse 8, 3 times I begged the Lord to take it away.
Mm,
I begged him. I didn't even ask. I begged him. A translation says pray. I like the translation says beg. It shows the intensity of the prayer.
yeah,
Like I begged God to take this. So God says, in a lot of instances, what pain will do, it will pull prayer out of you.
hmm,
God knows exactly what to do to get us to talk to Him.
yeah, yeah. That's
When do
absolutely.
people call 911? When they are in trouble.
Hmm, hmm.
I haven't listened to a 911 tape where somebody called and say, "How you doing today?" I'm just calling to see how y'all doing today.
Mm-mm,
Just checking up on you.
mm-mm. Doesn't happen. And if it does happen, you probably don't want to go there.
And sometimes we treat heaven like a 911 call center.
Emergencies only.
Emergencies only.
Yeah. Tough times have a way of teaching us to pray.
Right.
And what's interesting is in this text, he's praying for something that he was given, right? Because in the previous verse, the word used there, he
Yeah.
says, I was given.
Given.
It
Yeah.
doesn't say I was punished with.
Mm. Right.
Is almost
It was a gift.
like a gift.
And yeah, imagine that Christmas,
Right.
opening up your Christmas
Merry
gift,
Christmas. Yeah.
and hey Jazz, here you go. What's this? A thorn?
On, stick it right there. And he's begging to take something away that he
that
was
God gave him.
given, that God gave him, that God gave him.
What we gonna do with that message when we tell our people, no, God gave you this?
Yeah. God gave you this thorn. God gave you this battle. God gave you this battle.
Yeah.
God gave you this situation.
Mm,
God gave you
mm.
this mountain to climb. Right?
Thelma
It's
said prayer pulled her praying pulled her through. He know how to pull prayer out of you now. And if not, and for nothing else, pain opens up a dialogue with divinity.
mhm.
It opens up a conversation with the creator. That's instinctively, that's what pain will do. It'll cause you to call your doctor. If it hurts bad enough, little pain, you'll be like, I could deal with it. But if it start hurting bad enough, you're gonna call a doctor.
Yeah. 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 And he, like you said, we see this verse 8 tells us how painful it was, whatever it is, right? Either from a physical sense, from whatever sense you want to put it, that he 3 different times he's begging, right? That shows you the level of pain and turmoil he's experiencing,
Absolutely.
right? That it's intense, and he's begging to take, and his God just won't call the dogs off. And when I see this text, I visualize, because it says, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger from Satan to torment me. God is using Satan's tactics for his own will.
Wow. 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 Wow.
That's something to wrestle with, man.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
It literally, I was given a thorn in my flesh, but it's a messenger from Satan to torment me. So it's not even God tormenting me, but he's using the tormentor. And in my mind, it's he has Satan on a leash. He's a dog
Right.
on a leash, and he's allowing him to do just enough to get what he needs to get to you. But he won't let him go. He still got him in his grip.
Mm. He's using Satan. That's why Paul can later write all things work together.
Yeah. And
All
he's
things and everybody God uses.
yeah,
Which means God can literally use Satan.
yeah. And he's
Yeah.
begging him to call the dogs off, and he
Right.
won't do it.
I mean, Job tells us that. Job tells us that.
Yeah.
It's interesting how scriptures parallel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you put Job on a witness stand and say, yeah, I know exactly what Paul going through because he used Satan with me too.
Yeah.
He
One of
gave
the
him permission.
one of the other things I wrestle with when you know, this is one of the, I would say, a familiar text for most people, right?
Right,
Especially preachers. One of the things I wrestle with in verse 8, um, he says 3 different times,
right,
3 different times, um, which in my mind I wrestle with the wording of that. Seems like there were, even though he was in pain, there were some lulls in his prayer life because it wasn't persistent. It was 3 different times.
right.
And
Or it intensified, or he just felt like he could deal with it. It's like I got this morphine here. It's kind of like if you need it, I can deal with it. And then it suggests that the pain was more intense
Mhm.
than others, as Dr. Jazz gave that scale.
Yeah.
It's never zero, but it's not always
Always.
10.
Right. And
But every time it got to 10, I'm like, okay,
right, right,
just
right, right, right. And it kind of highlights the fact that, and I think all of us can attest to this, the most painful thing we've experienced, there are some moments where we're dealing with it better than other moments.
absolutely. Grief and
Yeah.
sickness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that, you kind of, as you get older, right? I was in a bad accident. And once I declined not to have surgery, I wrestled with the fact or the understanding that I'm gonna have to deal with this pain.
Hmm.
So it's never not painful,
Right.
but there are times where I need to take some pills, do something. It just hurts that bad. It's
Yeah.
not all the time. And but what also as you analyze the text, something popped in my spirit that I think is really a shout. We don't know what to this day, we don't know what a thorn is.
No, we don't.
Man, if that ain't worth shouting about, that God literally keeps his struggle a secret. Y'all don't know when to shout.
Yeah, man.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. That's worth the price of admission. Yeah.
God is sovereign. Remember, as you said, to keep me from becoming prideful.
Yeah.
He but Paul, the struggle is a secret.
Mm.
How you gonna be prideful when you've been keeping your struggle a secret?
Right. Right.
Because to be prideful means you think you're better than somebody else
Yeah.
whose pain has been made public. Y'all don't know when to shout. That's why I can't ever become
Right.
prideful.
Right. Lord have wow.
Because God has been keeping my little struggle a secret.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Which
I got to keep praying.
which tells us, man, it's something we gotta love about God, man. It's never about exposure. It's about evolution.
Yeah. We got to evolve, man. We got to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Nowhere in scripture do we see God's intent to expose.
Hmm. Hmm.
All throughout the Bible, especially Old Testament, you know what we see? A lot of warnings.
Yeah.
A lot of warnings.
Yeah.
Sodom and Gomorrah. Like you go through this, you see a lot of warnings.
Yeah.
That's why the Bible says pride goes before the fall. Because if you maintain that posture of pride, eventually you're going to fall. Generally speaking, in most jobs, once you reach probation, there's levels to your fire.
Right.
Now you in probation, you sneeze wrong, you gone, right? But once you reach that level of probation, you're out of probation, they usually gotta put a case together. They gotta put a file together.
Hmm.
Those are warnings. It's easy to say they just fired me. No, they didn't.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. This has been, you was too prideful to stop doing what they asked you to stop doing. And so 3 different times he says, listen, God, just take it away. And what the Bible doesn't say in verse 9 is that God said no, or God didn't hear him. But it does say that although Paul had a repetitive prayer, God also had a repetitive response. Because he said each time, he said, my grace is all you need.
Yeah. So he didn't,
Paul's prayer didn't change. God's response didn't change.
and he didn't ignore him.
Right. Yeah. So, see, sometimes we mischaracterize God. He didn't ignore.
Mm-mm.
But what happens when God doesn't necessarily give us the answer we're looking for?
Yeah.
So we walk around saying God ain't answering our prayer. And you be lying on God. He did answer.
He
He
answered.
did. He maybe didn't give you the answer you were looking for, but he does answer.
Yeah.
What is it? What's best? The answer we want or the answer we need?
Mm. Because in our mind, anything other than yes is no.
To a child. To a child.
Yeah.
Part of this season of growth is spiritual maturity.
Hmm.
Stop walking around lying on God when all he said was not yet. And you keep telling people there's no. He didn't say no, he said not yet.
Yeah.
He didn't say no, he might have said not this, not him, not her, not that. But anything other than yes to exactly what we asked for, we take the posture that is denied or is no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe God says, I don't want you to be healed through that surgery. I'm gonna do it myself. I
Yeah.
don't want you to get that treatment. I'm gonna do it myself. We had somebody on our prayer line today that literally said that she was denied a transplant and asked us to pray. We had no problem with praying for that. And about 3 or 4 calls later, somebody came on the prayer line and said, I too was denied of a transplant years ago, and God healed me.
Without
I'm
issue.
no longer on dialysis. I've been totally, absolutely healed for years. Same prayer line this morning. If you're on this prayer line, holler at your boy. You can testify. So what if God says, I want to do it my way,
Mm.
which is what he basically says in verse number 9.
Yeah.
My grace is all you need.
Yeah.
You think you need me to pull the pain out, Paul.
Right. You just need the grace to deal with it.
You need the grace to deal with it.
Because here's the reality, whether we'll admit it or not. None of us really want to depend on God. Can we just be honest?
No, he didn't.
Can we really just be
The
honest?
old school song just say, I can depend on God, but we should say, do we want to depend on God?
Let's really be honest. Because what he's telling him is what he's telling Paul is, I'm not going to take the pain away, but I'm going to provide you with my grace and my power. But that creates a dependency.
That's the payback in the text, ladies and gentlemen. I'm giving you something better than me taking the pain away.
Yeah. But it requires you to depend and stick with me. And the reality is, if we would be honest, at the root of it, we don't really want to depend on God because what does that look like?
It's nerve wracking.
That looks like needing to be dependent upon Him.
Right. Yeah, the core of our essence, the core of our being is to be independent. We have been trying to be independent since we got out of the womb.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's been the essence of our
We have
being.
to change. We got to change our mindset from seeking independence spiritually to accepting dependence.
Yeah, we wrestle through that. Think about your life, your baby, and all you say is you can't wait to get out of mom's. You want to be independent. Then you do go through a little season, around about your 30s and 40s, where you be like, you know what? Being at mama house wasn't so
Right.
bad. Is my room still ready? You ain't move nobody in, have you? Right? And then we get older in life. If God blesses us to get older, then life kind of flips back to we kind of need some help, right?
Hmm.
And that, I mean, and that becomes challenging, man.
Yeah.
You know, when they 60, 70, 80 years old and be like, Mama, you can't drive no more. You like, oh, that's challenging.
Yeah.
But they think they can still do it. They think, man, no, man, I've been driving all my life. Mama, you can't have seat. You can't drive no more.
Right.
Right. But as you said, none of us at the core of who we are, we brag about not needing nobody,
Yeah.
including God.
Yeah. Our nature is not to want to be have to depend on people.
Yeah, I don't think that nobody excludes God. I really think at the core,
That's what I'm saying. At the very core, we
at the
don't.
core, we talk about God too.
Yeah, we talking about God too, because what comes with
I need
depending
you for
on
the
Him,
big stuff. Just wake me up. I got the
right?
rest.
Because what comes with depending on Him is pain or void or lack or situate like problems. Like that's those things create the dependency. And what we have to settle in our mind is that God will never align your life to have no area of it, to rid yourself completely of dependency on Him. You're always going to have an area of your life that you have to depend on God. God is not trying to kick you out when you turn 18.
It's
That's not how He works.
at the lowest level, the highest level, the way you look at it is codependence. Meaning, there's some things that God, because God gives us free will, right? There's some things that God gives us grace to do for ourselves. But as you suggest, there's never going to be a season in our lives that we just go to straight independence.
Right. Right. It's not supposed to be as it relates
He's
to
not
God.
going to kick us out
Mm-mm.
when we turn 18.
Mm-mm.
I hope my wife's not listening. That's God. He said God doesn't kick, parents kick. No, just, but you're right. You're right. You know, we say subliminally, God, just wake me up. Don't allow me to go through anything that will cause me not to be able to solely depend on myself.
Yeah.
I don't want a bill that's bigger than what my paycheck can handle. I don't want a problem too big that myself cannot solve. I don't want a pain that Tylenol cannot take away. I don't want a cold that Robitussin won't get out of myself. I don't want to go through anything. I don't want anything to happen to my car that I can't just go under the hood. I don't even want to take it to the mechanic. I want to
Mm.
be able to go and fix it myself. Anything beyond that, God, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Because God's parenting style is the opposite of human. What do I mean? Human parents, everything we do from the time the child is born is to prepare them to not have to depend on us.
Mm,
God's parenting style is God's parenting style is I'm preparing you to have to depend on me more.
that's a book. You wrote a book in a sentence.
It's the complete opposite.
We might need to write a book on God parenting style. That'll be totally. We thinking of it as, oh, don't beat your child. Oh, pray. That's not what we talking.
Mm-mm. Mm.
God has a unique way of parenting his children.
Yeah. He creates dependence. That's what he did here. He
Woo!
gave Paul a thorn to create dependence on him. He manufactured it. He's like, I'm going to give you something that's going to force you to depend on me. You're going to need
Force
my
you to
grace.
call me. I'm gonna make you call
Yeah, I'm going to make you call. My grace and my power is the only way you're going to be able to deal with this. So I'm going to give you this because then I know you're going to stay connected. God will create dependence.
me. You still a newlywed, so you never deal with this. So I just throw myself out there. Sometimes a relationship just ain't talking. Just a silent treatment. It's something always has usually be the kids, man. The kids are usually
Gotta say something, huh?
right. The kids usually be like the people that you just gotta force. But it's always that thing, right? And if it's not that, the other person kind of know how to get that conversation going. Sometimes is their way of saying sorry in a sense, but that's a whole nother deeper dive. But they know what to do
Yeah,
to get you to start talking,
yeah,
right? And God, as you're saying, God will never put us in a situation that will cause us to not talk to Him. And I believe this, that we, in a sense, set the barometer for that.
mm,
What I mean is, again, goes back to the statement, how high can God
yeah,
lift you without losing you?
yeah,
See, see, that's what I mean by we get to set the barometer.
yeah,
He said, okay, you up here, you still with me? We still okay, still with me, still okay. But now if he start losing you, now I gotta punch a hole in your balloon.
yeah. If we're able to stay connected, then He don't have to reconnect us.
Mm.
It's all depend on you. If you
Stay
stay,
connected, but don't have to reconnect.
yeah, if you stay connected, then that won't force Him to reconnect because He'll get you connected to Him. But to your
Yeah, if you
point,
don't pay that FP&L bill, you're gonna have to pay to get it reconnected. And that comes with a fee. And you're gonna pay that fee. You didn't want to pay the bill. That's why I got cut off.
right?
But they know they can attach a fee to that. You want to know why? Because you're going to pay whatever it takes
To get it
to
back on.
get reconnected. Y'all don't know when to shout.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so glad God doesn't hasn't established a high reconnection fee. Could you imagine?
Mm, Jesus Christ.
He could make the reconnection fee so much that we can't even afford it.
Yeah,
He went to Calvary because he knew we couldn't afford the reconnection fee.
yeah.
Lord have mercy. Because once your lights off, you're gonna pay it.
Mm,
Because they got you. They give you warnings. If you don't pay it by this time, we're gonna disconnect you. We think they playing. Come home lights pitch black.
mm,
So I disconnect. So there's a price you pay for reconnection. Again, so Paul explains he gives me this so that I won't have to pay the price to reconnect. See, when we're prideful, we disconnect. When we don't pray, we disconnect.
yeah,
And what's interesting is in this verse, we see this pivot. We see this pivot because he says, so now I'm glad to boast. Once I learned all this, I'm glad to boast about my weakness. That's a praise to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that a shift to
Mhm.
his way of thinking?
Yeah.
Now I'm celebrating. Now I'm glad to now I'm praising God for the pain. Isn't that crazy? I was praying for it to get away from me. Now I'm praising God because he let me
'Cause
live through it.
yeah. Yeah. And I feel like part of it is, see, sometimes I think sometimes people think that people shout and are celebrating and giving God glory because they have conquered something. When a lot of times, if and there's some people watching that could probably attest to this, you shout because God is sustaining you through something.
Yeah. It's not a
Not
stop,
because
it's sustaining.
not because you've overcome it, not because you've, it's been settled, it's been, you've been victorious. Sometimes you celebrating that God is keeping you in the midst of it.
Sustaining shout. Ooh.
All right. So sometimes that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's
yeah,
where it's like
yeah,
that'll cue,
yeah.
you know, your shout sometime. And
Woo.
man, not that I've defeated it, not that I've overcome it, not that
I
I'm
thought it
on
was
the
gonna take
side
me
of it,
out. I'm still standing.
and I'm still here. It ain't over yet, but
Woo.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
The thorn is still there, but so am I,
Woo.
right?
Yeah,
And
man.
we got to change our perspective sometime and stop waiting for the battle to be over to praise and to celebrate. And
Yeah.
sometimes you got to just be like, man, I'm still battling this thing, but I'm still here to do it,
Yeah, man.
right? And
I'm still in the fight.
I'm still in the fight. I'm still, and sometimes the God's ability to sustain you through pain, to me, is sometimes more impressive than his ability to take it away.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because you
we
gotta have some kind of power
yeah,
to give me peace in the midst of this storm.
right. The shout so strong, you assume it stopped.
Right.
You assume it stopped. But this shout is not about it stopping. It's about sustaining. We again, man, this year of growth is strongly connected to spiritual growth and spiritual maturity, that we have to be able to recognize our ability to have joy solely based upon sustainment.
Yeah.
I did get a raise. I've been praying for a raise. Didn't get it, but I'm still in the house.
Yeah.
I'm still driving the car. I've gained weight because I'm still eating. Y'all don't know when to shout. I've been praying for a new car, but I'm not on the bus. The car is a hoopty, but it's still riding. So, oh, you can't shout until you got a new car tag. Can you shout on sustainment?
Mm.
Can you shout even though it may have gotten better, but I want to say maybe it didn't get worse.
Yeah.
And even if it did get worse, you didn't even think it was even wrong for it to get worse. Ah, that's a whole nother lesson. You didn't even think it could get, you thought it was so bad at that moment. And then in hindsight, it got a little worse than what you thought was your lowest point.
Yeah.
I'm not making enough. You prayed because you weren't making enough. And for whatever reason, You still took a cut, but you still standing. You can't shut off that.
Yeah.
You can't shut off that. Are you preserving your shout until you get the answer you want?
Yeah. Yeah.
He say so. I'm boasting now.
Here's what's helped me in the past. Here's what helped me with pain. The reality that dead people don't feel it.
Double splash alert. That's about all we might be able to take tonight. We may get to it was 4 points. We might
That's what helped me. Once I'm like, okay, well, pain is proof of life. Ain't nobody in the grave feeling no pain. So, what? Which would you prefer?
two things where there's lacking of pain. Either you're dead or you're paralytic.
Bingo. Bingo.
So pain is also a lack of paralysis. Because the first thing they do to test paralysis is they use a
Inflict
pain.
pain. They inflict pain to see if you can feel it.
Let me ask you a question in chat, guys. We gotta go. Can you feel that? If you can feel it, you ought to shout. I can feel it. I can feel it. I felt it. I felt that. I felt that hurt. I felt that pain. They rejoice in the hospital when they do that test, and
Yeah.
the person says yes.
Yeah.
They happy.
Perspective. I'm just glad I can feel
Perspective.
pain. I'm just glad I can feel pain.
But they only do that test, Pastor Brandon. They do that test when there is the potential of paralysis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about it. Think about it. They do that test because there's a possibility
That you
that
might
what
be.
this person went through, what this person went through, we in overtime now. What this person went through, our chart says that could have led to paralysis. So we need to perform the test to make sure, so we'll know if they're paralyzed or not.
Mm.
Some of us have gone through stuff in all of the charts, the analytics, that's what they call it in sports, suggest that should result in you being paralyzed.
Mm. Should have been.
Should have been. So,
May I also add that maybe sometime God will send pain to make sure you're not paralyzed because you haven't moved.
you acting like you paralyzed.
So you got to make
Why
sure.
you haven't moved?
Why you haven't moved?
Mm,
Just,
mm.
just, just making sure you ain't paralyzed. Oh, okay. You can feel that. Oh, okay. Pain will make you move, boy.
Yes, sir.
And man, I really believe, man. I really believe. I really believe that the process of pain, the journey of feeling pain, glorifies God more than the removal of it
Yeah,
because it creates
yeah,
such a dependence on Him
yeah.
while you're feeling it
Right,
that cannot be duplicated once it's taken away.
right,
And
right.
if we're being honest, man, the removal of pain is sometimes anticlimactic because I mean, I've unfortunately, all of us, we've experienced physical pains, right? And man, you can't even pinpoint when the pain went away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like you can't
Yeah,
even celebrate the moment it went away because you can't even pinpoint. You just woke up one day and it was gone.
yeah, yeah.
So how can you celebrate something that you can't pinpoint? But what you can pinpoint is feeling that pain and God taking care of you even though you still have it.
But what that also helps us to realize that usually pain doesn't just evaporate, it's gradual.
Cool. It's gradual. Yeah. Yeah.
We got to learn, oh God, we got to get out of here, y'all. We got to learn how to chart our pain.
Mm.
We got to learn how to chart it. Yeah, we have to know how to do an analysis. Again, that scale that Dr. Jazz was talking about is not always 10.
Right.
It's not always 10. 9, it's 8, it's 7. It usually don't go from 10 to 0. It's
Yeah.
gradual. And we got to celebrate the steps. Lord have mercy. We got to celebrate. We robbing God of the 9, the 8, the 7, the 6, the 5, the 4. Look how many weeks and months you robbing God when God is gradually doing it. Because we think that 0 is the goal, but what happens when it won't get to 0 because 0 will indicate that you gone.
Yeah.
You gone. You gone.
Yeah, man.
So we got to celebrate those gradual steps. And he just closed. We won't have time to dive into it, but he just talks about the fact that he learned that when it's when I'm at my weakest moments that I'm really strong.
Yeah.
I'm more powerful when I'm in pain.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
God said, I'm pulling some power. I'm pulling that power you didn't know you had. I'm pulling that out of you. You got something in you I need to pull out. Because you're the most powerful when you're in the most pain. That's what he says. He says, for when I'm weak, then I am strong. What makes you strong? What makes you strong, Paul? As you said, because I'm leaning on him. You're at your strongest when you're leaning on God. And you're at your weakest when you're not.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's our little lesson for the night. And I pray that you have, through this hour and some odd minutes, you have repurposed your pain. You have redefined pain. You have not allowed pain to devalue the work of God in your life. That you understand that this pain is here to pay me, to teach me some lessons, to pull some things out of me that I'm not sure that was there. You didn't know how well you could pray. You thought praising what it didn't even take all that. You was critical of people praising God.
Yeah.
You were prideful. You didn't think you had power. But pain pulled all of those aspects out of you to let you know that when you are weak, it is then that we are strong. Listen, that's our time for tonight. Thank you all for yours. Listen, I got to run through some things. We got a lot of things going on at Zion, man. We got a lot of things going on. Starting this Sunday, we're doing what I call secret supplication. What we're going to do when you come to church on Sunday, you're going to receive a list to pray. You're going to write your prayer list on that list. You're going to write your prayer list on your, it's going to be real simple. And when you leave, you're going to get someone else's list. You're going to take that with you. And you know what you're going to do all week? You're going to spend the week praying for that list. It's going to be random. You don't even know who you're going to have. It's going to be totally anonymous. You're going to pray for that person. You're going to pray for that person's list all week long. And by next Sunday, we're going to experience a move of God because the people of God have spent the week praying for each other. So whatever you do, come to church come to church the rest of the year. Come to church next 2 Sundays because God has led me to do this. We exchange gifts all the time. Not that gifts are not good, but we got to learn how to build up some power in the house of God. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what Zion becomes, where people are praying for each other. And then on the 21st, if we're led, we'll be able to know who we've been praying for, so that prayer partnership can remain. So let's be prepared to do that. Listen, at the end of the year, we're concluding on fourth Sunday. All roads lead to the New Shiloh Church for this joint service. We're not having service. We are having service at the New Shiloh Church. We need Lonnie, Donnie, and everybody to come. We're offering transportation. We need you to sign the list. We need you to sign the list for transportation. If you need transportation. Now, when I first got to Zion, Miami was in Georgia. But now, Miami is up the street because everybody be at Finger Licking and all these other places. And so you may not need transportation. If you don't, great. Don't let that stop you. If you need transportation, we want to provide it for you, but we need to know that you need it. We're going to be wearing our red t-shirts, so make sure that you have yours. If not, we've got several ways you can get one. Of course, we know you can go on boyapparel.com. We're trying to, if we can, we need to do a bulk order. We'll have that available as well, but it's certainly easier for you to go online and order the shirt because it'll be drop shipped right to your house, and you'll be able to get it before the third Sunday. Got a couple of things. Make sure you're in your newsletter. Hey, Miss Nicole, how you doing tonight? Thank you so much for diving deeper with us. I hope you are staying warm in the great state of Colorado. All right, listen, we love you guys. I'm excited about the word on next Sunday. God's gonna share. It's the bishop's birthday, so I gotta have a word for the bishop's birthday. Let's be prepared to be a blessing to her. Let's be prepared to hear what God has to say to us on this past Sunday. I love you guys. Thank you so much for diving deeper with us. Be back next week as we continue to dive into God's word. Be blessed. Have a great week.